know that Tibetans in exile have been practicing a unique brand of democracy for decades? This can be clearly seen from the way we conduct our elections every 5 years to elect our Sikyong political leader and Chityu Tresok, Tibetan parliament in exile. Both Sikyong and Chityu elections involve a preliminary and final voting process. Any eligible candidate may run in the preliminary round, but only those who receive a sufficient number of votes may participate in the final round of elections. The election takes place on the same day worldwide in places where Tibetans live, except in Tibet, which is under the occupation of the Chinese Communist Party. About 50% of the exiled Tibetan electorate is concentrated in the Indian subcontinent, while the rest of the population is scattered around North America, Europe, Australasia, consisting of Australia and parts of East Asia. Holding the election on the same day worldwide presents significant logistical and sometimes specific political challenges. Despite these challenges, the last election in 2021 were conducted amidst the restrictions imposed by the COVID-19 pandemic. This demonstrates the commitment of the Tibetans in exile and the Tibetan Election Commission to ensure that one of the key elements of democracy is respected and fulfilled. The 2021 elections were held in 26 countries with 48 regional election commissions, setting up 306 polling booths. More than 2,000 individuals, including members of the central and regional election committees, election observers, grassroots members, made this election possible. The dispersed nature of the Tibetan exiled population presents several challenges for the electoral process. Many Tibetans must travel great distances in order to register to vote, and the situation is made more complex by the growing influence of China in countries such as Nepal, where the police sometimes interfere with the election process. In order to ensure the integrity of the vote, the election must be conducted in secret, with vigilant oversight of the ballot boxes. Additionally, arrangements must be made to accommodate those who live in areas with limited transportation access. Another challenge is, for instance, running for the position of Sikyong. It involves a significant amount of effort as the candidate must appeal to voters living in different parts of the world. This requires careful planning of their campaigns, tours, and expenses, as well as careful management of their time. Of the 83,080 individuals registered to participate in the 2021 elections, 63,991 actually voted in the final election, a participation rate of 77.02%. This represents an increase of 8.84% of voters compared to the 2016 election. In a recent survey on voter demography, the Tibetan Election Commission found that the highest number of voters, about 65.9%, were still residing in India, Nepal, and Bhutan. North America accounted for 18.18%, Europe 11.74%, and Australasia 2.6%. These findings show the ongoing changes in the Tibetan electoral demography and corresponding efforts of the Tibetan Election Commission to ensure that all members of the Tibetan electorate are able to exercise universal suffrage. The Tibetan democratic system has no political parties and allows any individual who meets the eligibility criteria to run for the Sikyong and Chityu elections. Candidates may self-nominate or have their candidacy put forward by individual supporters. An individual of Tibetan origin is eligible to vote when he or she is at least 18 years of age and makes an annual contribution known as the Green Book Chatel. The Green Book is used for identification as well as to avail certain welfare benefits from the Central Tibetan Administration, such as school admission, scholarships, and employment, and is a requirement for gaining voting rights in elections. To qualify as a parliamentary candidate, one must be over the age of 25 with no pending court cases. A candidate running for Sikyong must be over the age of 35 with no criminal record. There are a total of 30 parliamentary seats representing the 3 traditional provinces of Tibet from India, Nepal, and Bhutan. The clergy has 10 seats representing 5 religious traditions, 2 from North and South America, 2 from Europe and Africa, and 1 from Australasia, making for a total of 45 parliamentary representatives. Despite the many success stories of the Tibetan democratic election system, there are issues that the Tibetan public has highlighted over the years that need further deliberations. One example is the clergy having the unique privilege of being able to vote both in their traditional region, which is Chirka, and religious sect, resulting in double voting power. The number of voters among each Chirka varies significantly, such as Uyghur voters outnumbering Dome voters. In 2016, public calls were made to improve the electoral process for Tibetans in exile, to establish ethical standards for election, clarify and improve the current provisions in the Tibetan Charter and electoral rules, revise the criteria for parliamentary seats, ensure equal voting rights for all, and enhance the implementation of one person, one vote principle.